Welcome to Champion Investor. It's month 3. That's over and done with. And we have a new winner. And I've got to say, I am very impressed with the returns. Anthony, well done on being the winner for March 2024 on Champion Investor. And I tell you what, it's some impressive gains. Here we go, top of the leaderboard. So,
Thank
well
you,
done,
Justin.
Anthony.
Good to meet you. Thanks a
Yeah,
lot.
that's amazing return. £529,000 starting from just £100,000. And I've got to ask, how have we done this? What's your secret sauce? What's the strategy, Anthony?
Well, usually I just look for RNS's news, and if there is any good news, I go and buy a stock. So that's how it works. Like some people like Josh gave me the he impressed me. I saw his first video where he made 175% in AGL. So that's how I joined Champion Investor, and that I thought I'll give it a go.
Yeah, well, give it a go. Wow, you are more than double the next. That's Josh. You're more than double what Josh had. So,
Yeah.
so how long have you been investing, Andy? Maybe, I mean, in real life, I assume you invest and you trade. What do you do? Are you because in this game you've been trading a bit? I mean, jumping in and out of small caps, micro-cap stocks, really. But
Yeah.
is that your strategy normally? And are you doing as well in real life?
Well, normally it's not my strategy, but recently, because the market is not that great, so I have to take that approach. I have to preserve the cash and go for a trade whenever I can when there is a good news. But previously it was like I do some good research and then buy a stock, hold, and make sure, and see if it goes up. I've invested in like previously like forgot some of the stocks which really
But
couple of years.
generally, the stocks you invest in real life, are they sort of bigger companies? Are they revenue generating? Because the stocks you're investing in, you've been jumping in and out. Give us, in fact, before we go into what stocks you have recently bought and all that, just explain in real life, how well are you doing with your investing? Is it as good as this?
Well, in real life, the ones I picked here in Champions Investor, I picked in real life as well. But unfortunately, I closed it off quite quickly. So I made a percentage, like say for CAPEX, CPX, I made like 60% or something like that. But in Champion Investor, I think it was like 4-bagger or something, 400%.
Yeah.
So I was not having the same patience.
Yeah, and also differences, I suppose. What has to be pointed out is I've set this up to help people learn to invest, and at the moment, Anthony, you are number 1 out of over 1,300 people, and people are joining all the time. So you're doing very well. Like I said, you are twice. Your return is twice as good as the next one on the list, which is Josh, which we've had on. But I'm interested to see why you jumped in CapEx, because this company has been, they do super capacitors, and they haven't been good of late. Their fundamentals and their operations haven't been running smoothly, and yet look at that chart. It's from 2020, you've gone from 14 pence down to 0.1 pence. So this is a company in a major downtrend, and I assume you jumped in. If we scroll all the way in, you jumped in there almost like it was a near-death experience for the company. But like I said, they did do 212% from the low there. So these are very high-risk plays, aren't they? And so I assume you wouldn't go as big in real life on these, would you?
Yeah, I wouldn't go big. You're right. But there was news on that day. That's the reason I jumped in. It was a news about they had a conflict litigation going on with Tesla. So I think it was kind of getting settled. So that news, I saw that in the morning, but I didn't go in straight away. Then there was a little bit of rumors coming saying that there is a person, former ITM CEO, he is buying some stocks in this one. So it was kind of rumors, and as well as the news was pretty decent. They're saying they're settling out of court, I think, without much material involved. So thought I'll give it a go. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll give it a go. It's done very well, but if you look at this, it's against the trend because if you look at the share price is trending down. But what you have in almost like a bear market or downtrend, you do have these aggressive rallies because you've got majorly oversold, and you have these massive technical bounces. But then reverts to the downtrend. We're almost back now. It's probably below where you bought at, I suppose. But you've done so well. So that's CapEx. Any other stocks to stick out in your head as to you've done well at?
For in the month of March, I did well in AEG, Active Energy,
Oh,
AEG. Yeah,
AEG again, another one that's having issues with this is amazing because you are literally almost doing falling knife trades here, which are very hard to do. I mean, because look at that, look at the stock price of this company. Let's see, it's gone from 226 in 2015. Even in the last 2 years, it's been up as 58 pence, and now it's done. These are companies that have lost 90% of their value, and they're almost on the edge of carrying on as a going concern. And
yeah,
you've been jumping in at the right moments. Very hard trading. I'm going to warn people, any new people listening to this, trading is very hard. The stats are against you. 70% of people lose money trading, retail investors. So, only the very best of people can do this. It's very hard to do. Investing is a bit easier. So you jumped in here. Why did you jump in, Anthony?
Again, there was an RNS that day.
Yeah,
I think it's 5th of March. It was like they received a sum of amount like 1.6 million or something like that.
yeah,
And their MCAP was like 500K or something. I'm not sure exactly.
yeah,
So I thought, okay, that's worth giving it a go. It's they've got like 3 times MCAP. So
yeah,
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 that
yeah.
was one
That's
of the
good.
reasons.
That's
And I've been
go
following
on.
AEG for the last couple of years. They had a lot of news coming and going. So it's not like a totally new stock. I'm
Yeah,
aware of that stock. They had a lot of issues, cold switch and things like that. So
yeah.
I thought, yeah. So because you already know the stock a little bit, and then there is a news potentially could gain
Yes,
some
that's good. That's a good little lesson there as well. It's worth getting to know companies, even companies not doing well. Like I said, like Active Energy there. When you get a bit of good news, it can really rally. Again, there's another one there. It's went up 186%, almost. Where operations were struggling and almost left for dead, pretty much. And then you get that last gasp breath. I was about to say last gasp. I like it too. And I've said this before, there are certain stocks you can play around with where they're almost in the intensive care unit. They're being tried. It's like a person almost on the edge of death, and they almost get that resuscitation. They come in and put those jump things on you, jump, stand clear, and they have that lease of life again. Of course, they're not a healthy person after that, but they've recovered and they're back to life. And that's that kind of edge the cliff jump moment where it's gone 186%. Now, I've got to point out as well the difference between champion investor and real life is that you can put a big chunk of money into that in Champion Investor. And of course, there's no problem with liquidity. Now, you can't do that in real life, really. So, there's no way you could probably put 100 grand or take it back out of that in a day because it would affect the bid price. But
Yeah,
so did you go into this in real life, Anthony, as well?
I did, yeah. But again, I did not hold for it.
Yeah.
This was like a two-bagger in Champion Investor, but originally I just closed it off like 50% or something like that. So
That's good though, but it's good. But it just shows when it comes to real money, is a little bit more at risk, isn't it? You think I
yeah,
can't hold it, so I like that. And do you ever use anything like stop losses, for example, in real money? If you put some money in, and trouble with microcaps, so sometimes stop losses won't work. So they can gap like this gap here. If you put a stop loss at like 1.5, the next day
yeah.
opened up below 1, it's not going to work. And that's the trouble with microcaps. They sort of work better on bigger stocks. But do you ever use stop losses
I
or
use sometimes it depends on if it is a bigger cap, yeah, I will be using. But if it's micro cap, it's a bit dangerous. The market
yeah,
makers can, take you
yeah,
out
yeah.
if they want the stock. Yeah. So you need to be a bit
Okay,
careful.
okay. And what's
Um,
your background? What do you do for a living?
I'm in software, so
Okay.
this is just a
And you live
part-time.
in the Bahamas by the looks of it.
Yeah, it's called Scotland.
Oh, wow, that's an amazing coastline in Scotland. I've never seen that.
Well,
I must visit
well, I
more
live
often.
next to the beach anyway, so
Oh, that's nice.
I'm not
So
very.
Well, Anthony, it's lovely to chat to you, and spread the word around amongst your friends, colleagues. Like I said, I want to try and push this as well towards people. Because the reason I started investing was because I was my A-level economics teacher started a fancy stocks and shares competition, and I've loved it ever since. And so I want to inspire people to get to learn about investing, because it's not only about investing; it's you learn so much about businesses, and even if you go on to be owning your own business, it helps so much to learn about other businesses. So I want to pass this on. So please pass this on. But Anthony, your prize, okay? Pick one of these books. I think this is from Harriman House, by the way, and I gotta highly recommend Harriman House. And they've passed these books on, and so by all means, and I've read many of these books. They interviewed some of the authors, and they're well worth it. So check out Harriman House. But Skeptical Investor, I don't know if you can see that, but that's a good
Mhm.
one. I spoke to John on the podcast a while back. It's very good. He's on Twitter. This is a good one. I think you'll like this. Oh, hang on, let's push it for my virtual screen is Unknown Market Wizards. Now these are big traders. Jack D. Swager. This is one of the first books I read that got me into investing as well. I loved it, and it's about some of these big American traders, or mainly traders and investors. I think that's a second edition, but there's the first edition. He talks to guys who are billionaires, almost multi millionaires, and they just they've all got different styles of investing or trading, but the one thing in common is they've all done very well. But I think that's a follow up on that. Daniel Crosby, I've had Daniel on the podcast, is behavioral investor. It's more about the mental side of it, and how people get affected by their trades and all that stuff, and how it goes on to scar them, and sometimes it can hold them back because they've had certain big losses. It's impacted them mentally. And this is another one. Is, of course, we all know mastering the mental game of trading. We all know largely, we all have the same information. But people who tend to do better are ones who have discipline and that mental ability. So take your pick. It's the mental game, behavioral investor, unknown market wizards, or skeptical investor. Which one would you want, Anthony?
I would go for Skeptical Investor. Yeah, the first
Excellent
one.
stuff. And also, one other thing, applies to the last two winners as well. I'm giving you a year's free membership to my investment club, and I'll show you what happens here. So it's opening soon. I haven't taken in new investors, and I cap the amount of investors that I allow, because I don't want to become an admin game for me. But here's the website, and so learning. It's got everything: videos on getting started, fundamental analysis is about income, balance sheet, cash flow statements, technical analysis, looking at charts, what to look for, trends, ranges, downtrends, all that. There's some spreadsheets you can download as well for yourself. There's also videos on 10 lessons I've learned from being an investor. On the blog here, for example, I also update this with any buys I make. I explain the MicroCap League and all this stuff. So I regularly do that. There's also, I put my watch list on there. So my watch list will be here. So whenever I, add a company to my watch list I think could be a good investment, like that. I'm also writing a book which is nearly finished. You have that. The MicroCap League. I love this. This is what I've been working on for a long time. And essentially, this is the only MicroCap League in the UK. Now, what I discovered, Anthony, right, was the best performing companies of all time, pretty much. And I do list in that blog post just there 10 baggers. And they've got three things in common. And they are all started below 100 million market cap. They all had growth. They all had decent value when they started, and they all had momentum. So in fact, there's four things. But all these companies here I list, they're all ranked in potential to those metrics. So there is a 10 bagger amongst these. There's probably a few. In fact, there's some good businesses amongst these. Let's take an example. So you can move them around on any way you want. But if you click in here, for example, let's say what is it by Time Finance, for example. So you click in and you get a description of the company. You click through the website if you want. But here's some information on Time Finance. The brokers have an 82% upside target on this. This is on every company on that list. You'll see the broker target. You'd have the market cap, enterprise value, net asset per share. See there, it's 67 pence, which is below the share price. Average daily volume. So you can see the liquidity in it. So if you're looking at microcaps, it's very important about liquidity. Doesn't apply on Champion Investor because it's not real. But when you're looking to invest maybe bigger money, then you need to know liquidity. And so it's about £104,000 a day traded there. The revenue there, cash, the debt, operating cash flow, and all that. And then we got the scores, which is very important. Like I said, growth, value, and momentum, very important, but also health and efficiency. So you can check out the scores in regards to full year results, half year results, scroll down value, and they're scored. And it's an explainer on this, and a video explainer on the website as well. And the broker targets, and also you've got the results there. And down here, if you look at the broker targets and it's very big, and you think, wow, that's big, then you can go down to my forecast and see if they tally. And I see I give an upside here to, where is it? So I get an upside here pretty much 128% to 2026. So we're largely in agreement. So that gives you a bit of upside there. So all that, and also a weekly webinar I do on Wednesdays. I cover lots of companies on the MicroCap League. Any requests, you can also join the chat forum we have. There's news, which is a good little section here. So, Anthony, there's loads of RNSs every day, isn't there, right? And they're hard to look through. This here, right, only lists companies that have revenue, which means, and also, by the way, those 10 baggers I talked about, like I said, they all had revenue. They weren't pre-revenue companies, pop and drop companies. But this here, if you click here, what you'll get is news only from companies that are sub 100 million market cap that have revenue. So rather than trolling through hundreds of RNSs in a day, you just troll through about 10, 15, and it's all there. And there's a podcast there and all that. So Anthony, you're a bona fide member for a year, free of charge. And I'll open that up to you. I'll send you the book as well. But Andy, thanks for coming on. Very well done on the returns. It's phenomenal. Over 500,000 from 100 grand in 3 months. And that's great. And when you join, of course, in the chat forum there, you can share your trading ideas with other investors, members there, and hopefully they'll benefit as well.
Thank you so
are you
much,
happy with that, Anthony?
Yeah, I'm really impressed. Thank you. Thank you for the champion investor. It kind of made me a little bit popular now.
Yeah.
But not only that, there is one thing about this is like a eureka moment. Basically, you start trading or investing only after 8:30 or something like that in Champion Investor. So you don't need to sit and chase 8 o'clock in the morning. So that it has given a new outlook how you can make money without being under, chasing stuff.
Yeah, Anthony, it's good to chat to you, and I won't keep you any longer because there's some lovely weather outside from behind you I can see, and you may want to get in the sea and do some surfing and celebrate your success as champion investor for March. Anthony, thanks for that, and hopefully, you never know. I mean, it's going to be hard to catch you. I mean, next month. So unless you do a really bad trade and lose half of that, it's going to be hard to catch you. So I may be chatting to you at the end of the year for the all-time investor crown. But well done so far. It's an unbelievable return, and hopefully we'll catch up soon. Thanks very much.
Thanks a lot, Justin.